So we have a second Transformers Finance video, but this one is a little different than the one that we discussed yesterday. This one actually is going to affect our hobby in the long run and in our everyday lives. And it's that of an announcement today via the Reuters.com website, which interviewed Hasbro today. It seems that Hasbro is going to be increasing the prices of all their products due to the raising cost of toy manufacturing. Now, again, this interview just happened today, and according to them, the cost of raw materials in order to make all their stuff is being a bit of a problem for them. And I mean, this is the same old story. I actually had a segment about this, I want to say about a year and a half ago or something, talking about Hasbro and their prices, but we're going to go over some of that here today. So it seems recently, yesterday, Hasbro had already sold off a chunk of their E1 Entertainment buyout that they did initially 2 years ago. They sold off their E1 Entertainment music division to the Blackstone Group, and right away there, I was like, oh no, the Blackstone Group. For people who aren't familiar with them, they're an investment management company, and they're one of the biggest leverage buyout companies, and they have a pretty sketchy past. So it's already making me go like, oh man, what's going on here if those guys are involved? So they sold that off. They got a cool 385 million from that. So apparently Hasbro's not interested in the music division of E1 Entertainment. They still keep a lot of the other stuff that they got with it. But I guess the music part wasn't important in their grand portfolio of things. Let that be also a indicator of what might be in the future for Hasbro when it relates to that due to that business decision. So that being said, they're saying the rise of resin prices, packaging, metal prices, all the stuff, including the soaring transportation costs due to the high demand of supply distribution caused by the big V and all of that, is leading to them having to increase the prices of all their product. Apparently, they also were not happy about their sales that they made. Their net revenue was only 1% up from last year, which was much less than what they were hoping for. So there's a lot of little things going on. And Hasbro right now even said, and this is the one that's also another like groan for a lot of us older collectors, Hasbro said they're substantially looking at the opportunities to get into non-fungible tokens, or the NFTs, because now Mattel is getting into that and including it in some of their collectible brands to look as a way to tap into the explosive growth of the popularity of such a digital asset. Oh my God, I hope they don't try to sell as NFT Transformer toys. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. But I think they're going to try to figure out something that isn't too cringy and make some money from that. But let's talk about the most important thing from this article. And again, there's a lot of stuff to take apart here that's been going on. But let's talk about prices. Let's talk about prices. So as it stands, as of this recording, right now, we'll use Kingdom as our base and USD currency. Core class figures with Kingdom, $9.99. Deluxe class Kingdom, $22.99. Voyager class Kingdom, $29.99. Leader class is $49.99. And then when you get into, like, let's say the Ark and Black Zarek, our current Titan classes that are available to us, we're talking $159.99. So that's our benchmark right now in 2020, 2021 of what Transformer toys cost and their price points, essentially. Now, this is where we have to ask ourselves, where are we going from here if they're going to increase the price on things? And so what I started to do was let's look back every 5 years and see what those increases were. And there was increases. So obviously the core class didn't exist 5 years ago, so I can't use that as a comparison. But the deluxe class 5 years ago, which was, 2015, 2016, we're going to use that rubber band there of Combiner Wars and Titan's Return. And we have, deluxes were $16.99, Voyagers were $24.99. Leader classes were $44.99, and the Titan class Devastator and Fortress Maximus were $149.99. So right away, like you see, the Deluxe, it went up almost $6 to $7. The Voyager went up $4. The Leader class went up, another $5, and the Titan class went up $10. So within those 5 years, there was already substantial increases in value and what they were charging for their product. When we look from 2015 to 2010, and we really dial it back, we already saw, how crazy things were going and them trying to really take advantage of the popularity of Hasbro, because 2010 was like knee deep in that, right off of Revenge of the Fallen, and the money was good, so to speak. And deluxes during Revenge of the Fallen were $13 in 2010, 2011. Voyagers were 22. Leader classes were 45, and there was no Titan, but the Supreme class was $75. So even then, between 2010, 2011, and 2015, 2016, same thing, $3 increase or $4 increase on the Deluxes. The Voyager saw a $3 to $5 increase, depending, again. And amazingly enough, the Leader class only went up $2. So yeah. And what I'm trying to use, what am I rambling about here essentially is, so what is going to be our increase now from our base? So if you're used to right now paying $22.99 for your Deluxes in Kingdom, what is that going to mean? And they're already saying they kind of want to roll this out for the second half of 2021. So that means this is something that's going to affect us very soon. So does that mean, instead of being $22.99, Deluxes might be $25.99? Our Voyagers, instead of them being $29.99, they might be $32.99. Our Leader class is going to hold their price at $49.99, or are they going to get an increase to $52, $55? We have the Arc and the Black Zarek that I guess if you pre-ordered it, you're locked in on those prices. But do you think they might increase the Titan class price, or they might phase it out completely as the rumor keeps going around? With these increase of prices and plastic costs. So it's very tough. It's very tough to really piece together what's going to be going down. But at the end of the day, it does show that something is going to be happening in our hobby, and there will be a lot of price increases. And again, it's something that I feel is just inevitable. It's a combination of inflation mixed with the increase of plastic costs. Now, granted, I went on my rants in the past. Hasbro has gone out of their way to decrease those costs in multiple different layers, whether it be changing factories, changing the way that packaging is done, changing how the copyright for packaging is done, so less people have to be hired for that stuff. And then on the core product itself, the kind of plastic that's used on the product, the amount of paint decos, the amount of engineering, the amount of pieces, the use of not using pins for, let's say, the mags of the steering, not the mags, the center caps of the wheels for cars, and instead using a plastic mushroom, so they use less metal and more plastic that's molded into it. Little tricks here and there from an engineering on the Transformer to save little money. But all of that said, it seems to still be an increasing issue. And when you combine that with the fact, and this is where I aim it at a lot of my listeners, I always call it the buying power, which is, and I've said this many times to friends, and this has nothing to do with Transformers, but I've always said that you got to make sure you're getting a raise wherever you work, regardless. You got to make sure you're getting a raise every year to every 2 years, because the world keeps having a sliding inflation going upward constantly of 1% to 3% every year. And if you don't get a raise every 1% to 3% every year, your buying power of whatever your paycheck is, it decreases. Just for simple math, if you brag about, I have $100 a paycheck. If you didn't get a raise in a year from now, you might say you still have $100 paycheck, but it's probably more like, it's like $93 or maybe even less, depending on, again, what you're trying to buy and the increases. And so what's happening here is, once again, the buying power of what people make as an individual income is going to be affected again with this Transformer stuff, because prices are going to increase and your paycheck isn't going to increase, but the cost of product is going to go up. And so this is going to be a bit of a headache for some people, and it's going to be more difficult, but it's just something I like to bring up just because it creates a situation where all of a sudden people can't buy that much more. Again, I did a huge segment about this, and it was very heated with a lot of people because there's a lot of people that constantly think that, it's funny how people always think I shill for Hasbro, but then I do videos like this and it shows that I'm not shilling for Hasbro. I shill just for myself. That's essentially it. As a collector, us as collectors, that's the only person I shill for. How much we could get with how much money we have, and is it worth it or is it not worth it? Anyone that saw my stream, I wasn't too crazy about the Unicron, to be honest. It was good. It wasn't $600 good, but it was good. So it's something where we kind of have the same situation here, where it's like prices are increasing, but the world is kind of getting left behind. And now they're talking with NFTs, and that's a whole other thing. And selling off a portion of the E1 buyout really makes me wonder what's really going on behind the scenes with Hasbro, and not what's being shown on the surface level for investors and potential buyers of their company. They never want to show weakness and what's really going on. So I'm really curious. But let me know what you think. All I know is we're going to be paying more in the very near future, so get ready for that, and maybe go turn to your boss and go, hey, I think I need a raise. But that's what you might have to do because prices are going up.